What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. Bobby Thigh and Eric Sheets Haber. We're going to be talking through this big MLB slate. I did want to remind everybody with the promo code Finals 2025 for 33% off your first month. We have some awesome packages out there and some really, really cool. Look, if you want to do just the trials, you can do the trials again because we have added a lot. And we're moving over to our new site, although it won't have more information. It's just going to look a lot better and be a little bit more user friendly, but at the same time, all the information is all still there, and take advantage of this while you can. We got this promo running probably through the first game or two of the finals. And with that said, Sheets, how was your night?
Yeah, so I want to talk about yesterday for a few minutes. I mean, you got like so unlucky, and I'm going to tell you why. I was watching, the beginning of the Angels game and the Tigers, and you basically had like the stone nuts within like 5 minutes. Okay. And you would think that on a freaking short slate, like that would be plenty. You know what I mean? Those are the things that, like, what happens on a 12-game slate, it already starts sweating. You know what I mean?
Right.
But on a freaking 6-game slate, and if I told you like that 3 of the games were going to totally bust, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was that. See, I consider that unlucky. Okay. And then I did slowly but surely, just everybody else just started smashing, and the Twins started smashing, and I'm like, that's just not right.
Yeah.
So that's my comment on DFS. I was really more looking at your stuff. I actually had a couple of swings to win the FanDuel lottery, just couldn't quite hit the home run I needed. And I don't know why is it that the Dodgers are like the best team in the league, but every once in a while they can't hit like the worst pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, and I was at the game last night, and it was frustrating for one thing. I think they line drives to guy catching the ball against the wall like 5
is that right?
times. And that'll get you. You know what I mean? Those 5 balls are either in the gap or they travel 5 feet further, and all of a sudden it's a rout. And by the way, they still almost got there in the end, because there were stolen bases late and there was home runs late. It was actually a really fun game at the end. It was kind of boring for a few hours, and then it was like really fun.
You know what? You got your Ohtani home run too.
You got the Ohtani home run. Look, I don't care what your position is in baseball or whatever. When you're down 4-3 in the bottom of the 11th or whatever, or bottom of the 10th, and there's nobody out and you have runners at first and second, you have to bunt. I don't care who you are or what you are. Also, when you have 3 righties on the bench, you don't need to go lefty with the highest strikeout rate guy on your team and the highest double play rate guy on your team. I don't really understand it. But they lost because of it, and it is what it is.
Has that stuff all been worked out, or no?
What's that?
Like whether you're supposed to bunt or whether you're supposed to whatever. And
there's 0 point. Like if it was a playoff game, it's 100% of a bunt 100% of the time, except for the fact that people don't know how to bunt. Some people are not bunters,
right?
But that shouldn't. It's not that crazy hard, and you have guys on the bench who can bunt. You can pinch hit a Kike Hernandez and bunt. Anyway, just a little tilting as a Dodger fan, but it's a regular season game. I'm not going to get upset about a regular season game ever, although it is. I had a little bit of a sheet streak going. I think the Dodgers have now lost like 2 out of the last 50 games I've gone to. So I can't complain too much. All right. So should we, we've got the big 111 tonight. That's got $1 million for first.
What was I going to say? And not only that, but it's a slate where there's like a lot of things you can do, I think, especially with the pitching. I have like 8 pitchers I can play, or like 7, and then hitting too. I mean, it's going to be a fun one. I think we'll see.
Yeah. Eric's agreeing with me about that to play last night. Anyway, I agree with you. I agree with that assessment. I think that there's a lot of different options at quarterback, at pitcher, but we'll try to narrow it down. And by the way, we get to start off with your. I don't know what the hell this. I don't know if I love this, but we'll get off to the first. Actually, Rodon is the one you like. Who's the one you don't? Is Rodon the one you don't like? Or
I hate them all. So
you hate them all. That's right. Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right.
But Rodon was the actually Carrasco was the original. Then Rodon was the next one.
Oh, Carrasco though is just at the end of the rope. He was once great. He was oddly on I won those 2 in a week He was my pitcher. He was a pitcher on for both of me. My first big wins in DFS when I first started playing for 100K. Anyway, so we have Bybee and Rodon here. And all right, Cheats, I'll start with you first because I started first yesterday and didn't work out. Neither of us did well. So why don't you start us off today?
So I have Rodon. I mean, technically, like rated first, overall. But there's, as I kind of alluded to, there's such a small difference between all of my top 7 pitchers that you don't. I mean, I really want to get some of all of them. And the other thing that you could do is prioritize upside a little more. And I'm not so sure that Rodon's the guy I'm going to want for that. Also, it's not like he's low owned, so I don't know. He's in my pool. He's in my list. I don't think I have to play him in big buy-ins. As far as I don't who's pitching on the other side, but Tanner Bybee, whatever. Yeah, I have him below the top group, and I'm not getting any of the hitting actually in this game.
Yeah, it's probably a little too FPS of me to say Bybee is actually like an interesting play today. If it was a 6-game slate like yesterday, I 100% would be very into this, and I still might talk myself into it a little bit later. This is, by the way, forget whatever exposures you see right here. It means nothing. It's just I ran an initial thing. It didn't. There's nothing of any relevance to what I'm actually going to be doing with any of these ownerships. I'm imagining I'm going to be well under the field on Rodon. Cleveland doesn't strike out a ton. They do strike out a little more against lefties, but it's not like an ideal matchup for Rodon. And like we said, we have a lot of options. And if we're going to put this guy at number 1, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's okay. I think he's fine. He's been unbelievably awesome. I just don't love this matchup. Yeah, I'm not getting to any of. I don't think I'd get to any of the hitting. I don't know. Rodon's probably been a little too good for me to talk about this, but I actually, when I first looked, I thought, okay, I'm going to fade Rodon, and I actually think some of the Cleveland guys are kind of interesting because they're so cheap, but I don't think I really need to on this slate. Philadelphia, Toronto sheets. Another, we have one good pitcher in this game, although he hasn't been nearly as good this year as last year, and he's not getting any love today. So anything of interest for you here?
Who are the pitchers here?
Sanchez and Francis?
Yeah, I'm not getting any of these guys.
Well, Sanchez, I'm just saying because he was like one of the best pitchers in baseball last year.
Oh.
But he's not.
And I'm actually not getting to much of the hitting either. Big slate, and already I'm Xing stuff out. So I'm not really getting them. I have like I have the Phillies rated like 7th, maybe. And aside from that, I'm not getting anything.
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything here except for maybe, like you said, a little bit of Phillies as like a potential. Francis, we've seen struggle at times. And again, it's one of those just how do you rate versus the, you need a lot to win tonight. And you have an extremely expensive Philly offense with, basically, I guess you could call it a slight park downgrade. So I guess the Phillies are in play, but that's pretty much all I have here. In fact, yeah, I think on a smaller slate, the Phillies would be one of those teams you might even prioritize, but I just don't think you need. I think there's just better options on this slate. All right, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati. And if I seem like I'm going quick, it's only because there's a lot of games here today.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I have Hunter Green as as usual, a risky but good GPP option for me. I have him rated again in that group of 7. I don't even want to prioritize. It's like 1A all the way through like 1G, I guess. So I did have Hunter Green in there. As far as hitting goes, once again, nothing. Wow, this is so strange. So no hitting, just Hunter Green.
It feels like it's been a common theme this year that we've kind of liked the later hit. And by the way, it's been effective for most people. I don't know. Can't necessarily say it's been effective for me, but the later games have tended to be where most of the offense is for most of the season, just by happenstance. I think both of these pitchers are totally in play here, and I'm not really. Okay. I know it's Cincinnati, but this feels like a pretty good. Okay, you get these guys at a little bit lower ownership. I think that's the right thing to do. So I am very interested in both Green and both these offenses have upside, but they also have major there are strikeouts in those lineups. So So I'm going to be one of the people who plays a little bit more of the pitching here, and it doesn't feel great on a giant slate to take the pitchers in Cincinnati, but I do think the strikeout upside for both those guys is very, very high. All right, now we get Boston, and look at the first run it gave me, 75% of the Kikuchi. Look, again, nothing to do with what I'm actually going to do, it's just what it gave me. Kikuchi and Bello in Boston sheets. What is showing up for you here?
Yeah, I have both these pitchers as playable. They're both in that group of 7. These guys, are a little different in that they're, don't need to expect all that much, and you don't need all that much. And this will open up to some good possibilities here as far as hitting goes. So yeah, I do like both of these guys. And then neither of the hitting here as well. I promise people I will come up with some hitting here, just not yet. So I do like both the pitchers here.
Yeah, I have a little bit of interest in both the pitchers. The pricing is so low on DraftKings, but I also think the Angels are kind of interesting, and I honestly don't even mind the Red Sox a little bit. Look, it's a nice warm day in Boston. Obviously, a great hitter's park. We've seen the good and the bad of Bello. Kikuchi's been a lot more consistent this year, but it's not like he's like a god or something. I'm kind of a little bit interested in this as a contrarian, at least to consider. I don't know about game stack, but certainly some bats. And that Angels lineup, man, it's not so bad. Especially you got Mike Trout. Mike Trout batting 5th, by the way. That's what's happened to Mike Trout, and the Angels just tearing the cover off the ball the last couple months. So I think it's kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, you were one of the Angel whisperers last night. Put up 6 in the first inning.
I know, the first team how about this? First team in 100 years, or first time since 1912, so over 100 years, that a team hit 3 home runs in the first inning in Boston, which shocked me. I just thought there's been so many games played there. That was like a really strange stat that I read on the way to the stadium. What is going on over there? You got a refresher?
No, I just have to turn the volume down. That's all.
Oh no, I didn't know what it was. Yeah, it feels like every game we talk about here is going to have pitchers we consider. So this one's going to be no different. Arizona.
I'm running out. I mean, I've already given 4 of them, so I have three more I can give you.
Okay, so how about here and with these guys? I'm just assuming Strider's showing up at least somewhere for you.
He is. So what's the deal with him? Is he like back in full or?
He's back enough to ruin Bryce Harper's season. Did you see that?
No.
He came back and he threw it up and in into Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper is now out for God knows how long, maybe the season, probably. Well, I don't know. That's what people are saying this season. I honestly don't really know enough to where I should be.
Well, I mean, if Strider is, I mean, I'm going to sound like a real casual here because I haven't really been paying much of attention. But wasn't Strider the same guy we played at like 12K like all season? I mean, what's the deal with him? Is he just back, or was he injured, or is he just not as good?
He was injured forever.
Okay.
For a year.
Okay.
Well, not for a year. Sorry, for a year. I guess that's fair.
But I have him in. Listen, I have him in there. I mean, he's one of the 7. And I hate to say this, but once again, I'm not getting any of the hitting. I probably should, right? I mean, this is probably a good stadium, and I would think that you'd want to play some of these guys. I'm just not getting there.
Yeah, I don't know who I'd be trying to pick on exactly. Okay, so he hasn't been good this year. If you want to get creative at pitcher, I mean, he's really, I can't even say this year. He's just been getting hit like crazy every time. Maybe it's probably too much for this slate. But I'll just mention that Zach Gallen at 0 ownership is just caught my eye a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't catch my eye. It's just it's sort of in that there's plenty of other guys. I don't know if I really need to use Gallen. But yeah, I do have interest in Strider, and I guess the flip side of the Gallen is that he's really struggled at times lately. I mean, maybe the Braves as a sort of a secondary tier sack is kind of interesting. They do have like a 5-run total because it's 86 degrees and really humid in Atlanta, but there is a little wind blowing in, but still, I'm open to it. We still have not found a stack that we're getting on board with this yet. All right, Texas and Tampa Bay. We have Rasmussen and Molly. Another two actual other good pitchers. It seems like all the good pitchers are out today, and I'm seeing some potential weather concerns, but I don't know. Oh yeah, this one has some serious weather possibilities.
All right, well, we can throw this game out then. I mean, like, that's like
throw it out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to throw it out anyway, and now you're telling me if there's weather too. I mean, big slate to try to make it small. I mean, listen, Rodon looked good. That wasn't bad. Thought the Phillies were not the worst. Hunter Green was okay, but again, no hitting. But maybe you're right. Maybe this Boston LA game again, Angels game again, could deliver somewhere. And I'll tell you this: if you're right, if Strider's in fact not doing well, I mean, Arizona's they've been banging the ball, right? So I guess they're all right. But we'll have some better ones. I was about to say I promise, but it's not as if my favorite stacks are that great anyway. We'll get there in a minute. But I think Texas Tampa is kind of a throwout.
Yeah. I think that's fair. All right, so now we have Sawyer Gibson Long and Shane Smith, Detroit and in Chicago. The one thing I would say about it does feel natural to just want to stack against the White Sox every day, and especially after yesterday, and have the 3 home runs by Carpenter. I mean, I think that this is another day still to consider it. I just would say that Shane Smith has he had a bad outing his last one, but he's mostly been pretty solid, and he's probably the best pitcher for the White Sox. I guess I would say that. I sort of reversed the role on you here, but Sawyer Gibson Long you can certainly consider as a value piece, but I just think there's so many other pitchers. He does have some strikeout upside, and it is the White Sox, so I can't totally cross him off, but I'm gonna have to try and figure out a way to prioritize these guys. So yeah, I have the Tigers as something to consider, but honestly, I don't feel like it's like an incredible spot against Shane Smith, who's actually been pretty decent.
Yeah, I like both of these teams here. I have both the Tigers and the White Sox as part of my favorite group here. I guess, like I said, the White Sox are always cheap, and they're just kind of showing up for me tonight. I have currently Detroit and the White Sox kind of tied for 3rd, 4th, 5th, like that area.
Okay.
So I like both of them, actually. I'm glad to hear that at least there's no big wind coming in or anything like that.
No, it's actually nice, and it's 82 degrees in Chicago. So
yeah, so I definitely like that. And you saw what Detroit did to the ball yesterday. It's like
yeah.
So yeah, I like both these teams. So that's and it's not like it's a late game. It's like I feel like we talked about 75 games. We're still at 7:40 p.m. on the board. I do like both these bats though.
Yeah. All right, KC and St. Louis, Palante and Lorenzen. Any interest for you in either of the pitchers, and what do you think of the hitting? Because it is a great. It's 84 degrees, and there's 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left, so it seems like a good hitting spot.
Well, I know that I've probably said this 30 times in the last year, but I think Kansas City for me looks like the top-rated stack. The weather helps. What probably would already have been a good option. I have them tied with one other team, and as usual, they're going to be. I think they're going to be popular. They always are when they look good. But it's a huge slate. You know what I mean? So I don't think anybody's going to be that popular over here. So I do like.
It's also like they have a very low run total, so it's not like there's like anything that stands out about it.
So I do like Kansas City, and I'm not getting any of the pitching, and I am not getting the St. Louis.
Yeah, I think St. Louis is much better than Kansas City in this spot. I get abused by Michael Lorenzen all the time. I never get him on the negative days where he just gets crushed. It happens a lot. I always seem to get him when he just throws like a weird like he did last year, like a no hitter out of nowhere. I like St. Louis and I like Kansas City. Of all the teams we've talked about so far, I think I'd rate St. Louis the first, and Kansas City like the 4th or so of all the teams, maybe just a little behind the Phillies and the Angels. But I do like St. Louis quite a bit. All right. Baltimore in Seattle. And Actually, forgot who's pitching. Oh yeah, that's right. Kirby and Zagano.
Yep. So Kirby I have is in my group. Just kind of, I think that takes care of all the pitching up here. Like Rodon.
Well, we've already got like 75 guys. So
I had seven pitchers. Like Rodon, Kirby, Kikuchi, Bello. Oh no, we got another one coming up. Hunter Green, Strider. We got another one coming up. Not getting to any of the hitting. Can't imagine why I would in this kind of park and all that stuff. So no hitting for me, just Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that Baltimore's been bad. I think Kirby is probably an X out for me. I don't see what anybody's talking like. He has to. First of all, he's put again for 80 pitches, and we're going to play him on a 16-game slate. I don't think he's thrown more than 80. He's just got completely hammered in his first 2 starts back from a serious injury. So I am not on the Kirby side myself. I don't know. I X him out for sure. But I did consider that Baltimore, it feels weird because they've been so bad, but look, it's baseball. It's one day. I think I have to keep him on my list for now, at least. So I have Baltimore on the list, and that's pretty much it for me for this game.
You know, it seems like an hour ago we talked about this game, but I remember saying something about Hunter Green. Did we ever? I didn't even bring up Peralta.
I mentioned both of them.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I think they're both really good plays.
Okay.
Those are that's probably like getting the low ownership. I just feel like again, I don't like to I'll just take the pitchers I like for the most part. But when you got the guys with the highest upsides who are getting low ownership, that's when I think you kind of want to take action.
Do you have any interest in it's a big slate or whatever in the Baltimore pitcher, the Sagano, or no?
No, it's too big a slate, I think. But I think he's I guess he's in play. Like, I mean, he's had a couple of really nice performances this year, but like, I don't think that it's like I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's fair enough. But I like the over in this game. If there was one bet I liked on the board today, I think that the over 7.5 between these teams seems like a really good bet to me. I can't trust Kirby until I see anything resembling like what he used to look like.
Makes sense.
Roop and Bergert in the San Francisco, which these teams took them till the extra innings to score last night.
Yep.
All right. Anything of interest for you?
Nope.
Same page here.
Not really. I mean, no. I mean, no pitching, no hitting, no go as far as I'm concerned.
I think maybe if you force me to do anything, I think the Giants is kind of in play, but it's 59 degrees in San Francisco and there's a million games. All right. Well, I think we're getting to where we're going to start playing a bunch of stuff.
This could be like a late night sweat type slate here. I mean, you got these last 4 teams, are going to be in play again. And it's a similar situation, right? So, it's not the same because there were a lot of options. There are a lot of options today. But remember last night we had Joe Ryan as like kind of one of the better pitchers, or if not the best pitcher, it depends on who you ask, going in, and it's just tough to get anything done in that freaking park, Not to mention that he was actually, he was getting squeezed pretty nasty actually. He was on the corners, not getting a lot of calls. In any case, Joe Ryan, as usual, when I'm watching, never does anything. So now we have Pablo Lopez, who similarly, looks pretty good in general. Good pitcher, all that stuff, and he looks to be in my top 7. But he's in the stadium where he it's just kind of rough to do anything. I am getting the Twins along with KC my top stack overall. So this stadium is very, very live, and I think that I don't even care what the A's are rated. I think you have to play them too. I think the stadium is just forces you to play it. So I guess I like Lopez, but Lopez and the other and both sets of bats.
Yeah, I have Lopez on my list, and I have both offenses, but I do think the Twins are pretty heavy chalk tonight.
Okay, that's good.
The size of the slate, just for what it's worth, and that's the only reason I would consider anything with them. I also think you're going to get guys just to go through if Harrison Bader's in the lineup, if Jonah Bride's in the lineup, even Royce Lewis, all of those guys have significant risk to only play like couple at bats. So that's the other danger you run into with the Twins. You will see the Matt Wallner, Trevor Larnach, all these guys who are not projected in the lineup today pop in, and probably maybe some of those guys might even make the lineup, but just something to consider. But I do have the Twins as pretty clearly like one of the best options on the slate.
Buxton was swinging the bat nicely.
Yeah, I mean he's the guy. He's the one you. It's hard to build your Minnesota stacks without him.
All right, so here we go. So back in business, right? So Mets at Dodgers. Let's see, maybe Carlos Carrasco come back on the Mets and come in and no hit the Dodgers or something like that. Like who do we got going tonight? We have, was it a bullpen game? Who's going?
It's McGill and Kershaw.
Oh, okay. So McGill and Kershaw. This is two pretty interesting pitchers. They're just going to get lost on the slate. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to play either of them, but I think they're going to combine for 5% ownership. I think.
I don't even think it'll be that high.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of good to play both the bats right back again. You know, I'll play the Mets. I'll play the Dodgers. Mets are Mets have some good bats, and Kershaw is he's could be anything at this point. You know.
Yeah.
So Mets definitely in play, and McGill he's decent, but the Dodgers have great bats. So those last two games can certainly make up for all kinds of stuff that's going on in the early games. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'll point out that this Mookie, this is what I don't understand. Like, I understand that we're dealing with all projection systems and things like this, and so it's hard to judge who's going to be in and out. Why? And as a Dodger fan, and I'll be pissed off if Mookie's actually available, because if Mookie's available, why don't we bring him up? We have back-to-back lefties against the lefty with first and second and nobody out.
Oh, you mean extra inning? Okay.
Yeah, it made no sense. Like you let him pinch hit. They brought in Will Smith to pinch hit, but they should have brought him in one spot sooner. Like because anyway, the whole thing is frustrating to me. So I would be shocked if Mookie's plays, but I honestly don't. I don't know. I still don't. As much as I love the Dodgers, I'm still not a big Dave Roberts guy. If Mookie needs more time to heal, whatever. So imagine you'll probably get. Let's see who's in the lineup, who will not be in there. There will be. I don't know who it'll be for sure, but I'm just betting that Betts is not going to be in there. I like both these teams. Look, Kershaw's my favorite Dodger of my lifetime, that actually played in my lifetime, I should say. And I think you still got to take some Mets here. The thing I'll say, just from being at the game, and then also it's going to be like this again tonight. It's a big difference when that temperature drops that below 70. That ball just stops carrying. And it's going to be 65 tonight. So I would just say that it's not like a great hitting circumstances or whatever. Here's what I've got. I've got the Dodgers and Mets as both pretty strong. I have the Minnesota, but they're chalky. I like St. Louis better than KC, but I like both of them. And then my other team that I'll have exposure to, I think that I want to keep doing this Angels thing, and I think I want to keep doing this Phillies thing. Or I want to do the Phillies thing tonight if I can make it work financially on this slate. Wise, I actually think that everybody's so close. I kind of like Green and Peralta just because the low ownership. So those are the two that I'll make sure to be over on. I'll probably let SaberSim work out the rest for me.
Did you run anything or no?
I haven't. I just ran the basic sims, and this is what
are you getting just from running the basic stuff?
The Angel. Oh, 70% Angels. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm getting similar. I'm not 70, but I'm getting 35% Angels would be my top one, and then followed by the Mets, and then Milwaukee, which actually is not a bad one to do.
I think that you could argue both sides of that Milwaukee Green and Peralta thing. Same thing with Kikuchi and Bello, who you mentioned as plays, but in that Boston game. And that's what this day feels like a lot of, not the real obvious outside of. That's why everyone's going to flock. Whatever Minnesota's projected to be owned, I promise you, it'll be significantly higher. Because Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because everyone plays those games. They see what happens. But also, there's no real obvious, like, who do we stack here? I think people will go to Minnesota, Detroit, things like that. When I personally would I think I would rather do a little bit more of the Dodgers, Mets, St. Louis, Phillies, Angels, that sort of thing.
Well, you know what was actually kind of interesting that we talked. Well, we did it kind of off the cuff yesterday. Like of the leverage type teams, in other words, of the teams going against the top pitchers. I think Arizona is not a bad idea against Atlanta. The other one that I might be down with that you brought up, and these guys are going to be like 0% owned, is how about Baltimore? You know, like you said, I mean, Kirby's come back and has shown nothing yet. Okay, and they're going to be like 0% owned Baltimore. Obviously, rough park, rough everything, but I mean, Kirby's going to be 25% owned, I imagine.
Yeah.
So that's a shot. I wouldn't play Cleveland against Rodon, just because they don't really put up so many points. Cleveland, yeah. But I will say that it's really warm here in New York. That might be worth something. And Milwaukee, I think, against Hunter Green, but I don't even think Hunter Green's gonna be that popular either. So
yeah, that's the thing about this slate. I feel like there's really just so many options, and Eric Johnson's. I'm gonna throw something out here just to give Eric Johnson a hard time. Bowden Francis has been really good lately. What are you talking about? I would love to know. He's had one good start where he threw 75 pitches. Other than that, what has he done good at all? He's had 2 good starts this season. I really honestly want to know what you're talking about. Like, there's been nothing good about Bowden Francis except for one good start against a horrible offense, a team that's really struggled offensively. So I honestly have no idea where that's coming from. Yeah, anyway, if it would look, it's weird because like I would like a lot of these games to have been on a small slate because I would take the Cleveland shot against Rodon. I would take, some of these other funny shots, but it's a big slate. So you really want to go for the upside. And yeah, for me, it's the Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, Angels. And this Angels team is they've got my attention a little bit. Like I like them. Maybe we're a year removed, maybe a year away from the Angels being like a real team, like a contender.
Well, I mean, like you said, you got Trout hitting 5th.
Yeah, Trout hitting 5th. Zach Neto has become like the best hitter in baseball somehow.
Yeah.
Joe Adell seems to hit a home run every day. Yesterday he hit 2.
And Joe Adell mashes the ball when he hits it. I mean,
yeah, he hits the ball a mile and a half. They're kind of fun. And they've never been fun. Even when they had Ohtani and right. Trout, I don't know anybody who likes
because they had like Anthony Rendon,
Right. And Anthony Rendon is still, by the way.
Who was that other guy who never hit an extra base at the Fletcher? You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah. But Rendon, I think Rendon is still the 3rd or 4th highest paid player in baseball.
Oh my God.
He's making like $40 million a year. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
And he went like 700 at bats without a home run. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he can't get lefties out. That's right. What Anthony is saying is right. Bowden Francis cannot get lefties out. His last start, doesn't mean he's good lately. He had 1 start. That's craziness to me. And people say 1 start and he's been good lately. That's not a lately. Lately is at least a minimum of 4 starts. All right. I'd like to give Eric a hard time because he loves to come in and we don't have as many people in the chat in the morning, but like Eric will come in and literally post like 100 in a row. It'll just be
you know what? That's good. That's good. We like that.
Get the engagement up. Yeah.
We like
it. Eric knows I love him. I'm just messing around with him. All right. Well, we'll be back at 5:30 Eastern.
Yes.
And then we get the NBA finals starting on Thursday. We got to get some golf research done today. I got to get my summer plans done.
Yeah.
And then we're in business. All right, man. Anything else before we get out of here?
Well, when you give me a second after you get off.
Yeah. All right. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you guys soon.